Yes, we've still got to find out exactly who we are against better competition, and that'll happen this weekend. And from now on, we've got 9 straight games here with teams that have really good players. But he's done everything that he could possibly be asked to do from the bowl game against Arizona State till today. He's taking care of the ball better. He's running better. He's more confident. He's making better decisions. He's taking care of the ball in the passing game by throwing it to us, and at the same time, he's got better ball security because the quarterback's usually your worst ball carrier on your team, and he's really taking care of the football. And he's being a great leader. I watched him run yesterday in our practice, and he goes and runs with the offensive linemen. I mean, it's not because they're slower; he doesn't run as fast, but he is out there jogging with them. He sits with them now in the meetings. When we have our team meetings, he's down front with them. So it's just a different person. It's a more confident person. It's a guy who is in charge and knows that he has made his place at Texas now, and he's not trying to get in that group of quarterbacks. He is in that group of quarterbacks, and in fact, a record breaker among that group now. So it's a totally different attitude, I think, with him, and a healthy one for our team and for him.
Well, and even with the team, do you feel like they're learning at the rate that you want them to learn and developing, say, the key package, for example, at the rate you want it to go?
We do. We get buzzwords around here and go crazy over them, so the Q package got real hot. I mean, it had to be the only thing that we're doing, so we shouldn't ever mention anything publicly because it gets overwhelming to some people. We used the Q package 9 plays, and it was the first drive of the third quarter, and looked good. In fact, John's fourth and 1.5 sweep with Cold out there was a good play. And there were a lot of good plays in that series, and we'll continue to expand on it. But we do feel like that we are still, as a team, a work in progress. I mean, we're playing against 3 passing teams that do not run the ball very well. So if you look at the stats, we're giving up more passing yards than you would want. We're stopping the run again, I think 66 yards a game. Well, a lot of that's who we play. So that's why the stats are skewed early in the year. Arkansas is throwing it more than they're running. They're averaging 277 yards passing a game. And we've been ahead in all 3 games, so they're going to throw more. We've still given up 3 or 4 big plays. So we're looking for perfection, and we've still got a ways to go. Obviously, at tight end now, we've got question marks. There's still question marks about which of the running backs needs to be the guy in the game when the game's on the line. There's young receivers that are still competing to get the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. And at the same time, your young safeties are trying to find their place. But we feel like our defensive coaches are getting a better feel of who we are and who those young guys are. They've seen about everything they can see in an early ball game. And those running backs know that we're watching them and grading them. Those receivers know, tight ends know, we're watching and grading every practice. And that hasn't changed, and it'll continue to be that way this week. So we actually won't know who will start at some of those positions until Saturday, and it'll be based on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice.
Coach, how different do you have to make things with Blaine's injury? Obviously, he's a different kind of player than the guys who are behind him right now. You have to take a lot of his routes and stuff like that. I mean, is that out of the playbook now?
What we have to do is really evaluate all of that today. Blaine gave us the same things that David Thomas and Jermichael Finley give us. And right now we don't have another guy that can do that. So do we move a guy to that position? Do we work some wide receivers inside in certain cases for certain plays? All of that's what we're discussing. We had about an hour and a half on it this morning just with personnel in general and where we go from here and what do we do. We tell our players each week, let's start the season over. Let's don't talk about last week. Let's figure out who we are, and this is the first game of the season. And to do that, we've got to continue to look at what's available on the board and who you have to move and what you have to do. If you look at it, we've lost Jermichael Finley, who we planned on, and then we've lost Josh Marshall and Blaine. So. And then Ian Harris got hurt, so we haven't had him back to practice. So we've lost 4 tight ends, and that's a pretty big hit. But it's not an excuse. We got to find somebody and go forward with it. We won't miss as much in the running game because we got some big guys that can block there. But we miss Blaine's speed and his ability to catch the ball deep.
Coach, are you surprised that there haven't been more explosive plays out of the running game with the running backs?
I don't know. Jeff, you look at it. You all get into all that. What we want to do is score. And, you know, we're throwing the ball as good as anybody in the country. I think Colt's, third in the country in passing efficiency. And we're rushing for 204 yards. We count it with quarterbacks being explosive plays too. I really don't understand if it's an explosive play, why it has to be a certain guy. I mean, that confuses me with people who are asking questions. So,
Is it fair to say, though, 3 games in, that the productivity of the running backs hasn't been at the level to...
Yeah, we've probably thrown it more than we've run it. I don't think, you know, you look at Cody had really good production Saturday night. It didn't look it as much because he had 4 plays on the goal line, which cut your yards per carry down. That's why you have to be careful with stats. We've pulled, I thought Vondrell was hurt at El Paso to a degree, and I was really proud of him that he played and fought through it, and we pulled him most of the second half, and the other night he carried the ball 7 times, I think. So unless you get a back that carries it 25 times a game, most likely, unless it's like Jamal could make a 75-yard run. We're not going to be that. That's not our personality. We may have some 12-yard runs, some 15-yard runs, but we're more in the Cedric Benson back situation where we're going to make our 8, 10, 12, 15-yard runs. We're not going to be Jamal Charles. We're not going to see that 98-yarder, I don't think. I just don't see that happening for us. So we're concerned about first downs and touchdowns. We're not concerned because that's not who we are. It's not our personality. Jordan made more explosive plays Saturday night, and that was important to us. We've lost Blaine in our explosive plays. Chris Obanai is making really good explosive plays in the passing game, and that's important for us. So what we've got to do, Jeff, is create explosive plays in some other way if we're not getting them. And usually you get them on option. Usually you get them on a play that bounces out, and I think the longest one's probably 16, 17 yards Saturday night. So I don't, after 3 weeks, defenses are going to get faster. I don't see us getting more explosive plays out of the running backs, if that's what you're asking. So, but we can't quit. I mean, we can't just shut it down and say, we need explosives, let's get some. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we are what we are, so we got to take what we got and refine it and try to figure out who can get some explosives and get the ball in their hands.
Coach, I can't remember a time when 4 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4 teams have been in the top 10 from the Big 12. This is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's by far our best year, no question. Kansas had the close near miss down at South Florida, which was a tough road game for them and a lot of humidity because we did that last year at Central Florida. But they'd probably be a top 10 team because they were 12th if they hadn't had the near miss. So they're all really, really good, and we get to play them all, which is really exciting. But it's great for this part of the country, and it says to people who form the Big 12 it worked. And I think we got some great football games coming up. And we got to make sure that our focus is this weekend and that we continue to get better because we're not ready to do what we need to do yet. We got a lot of work to do, and that's why we got to get better each week.
Coach, with all the freshmen that have been in the safety mix, are you pleased where they are right now? Do you like where that is?
I would think that we're pleased with most of the things we got, and they all need work. To be honest, it's we're a lot further along than we were 3 weeks ago, but we're still the team that everybody said was under the radar and they didn't know if they were any good, and they had all these question marks, questions about running backs, questions about receivers, questions about tight ends, questions about safeties. I mean, you know, it's we haven't changed anything. We've just answered the bell 3 times, and each week we'll know a little bit more about who we are. I don't know if we're any good or not. I mean, we're better than the 3 we've played, and they're playing really hard. You got to like the attitude of the team. But are we as good as we've been? I don't know. I mean, those are still question marks that are out there I think we'll get more answered this weekend than people think we are. When a team gets beat like Arkansas did, and basically because of 4 big plays, 28 points, 21 off turnovers, and 2 long runs, they're going to be really mad. So we're going to see the best Arkansas shot of the year, and that'll be great for our team. We need to see that.